Howdy folks, welcome to another beautiful day out here in West Vancouver. Although it seemed like the spring from yesterday is gone and we're back in winter because it's actually freezing cold out here. Alright, so in today's video we're going to talk about how to secure your iPhone when you go traveling. Actually not just when you go traveling, you should just do this in general. These things you should do because trust me, for those of you that don't know, recently I was in Sao Paulo in Brazil. I was busy ordering an Uber, and some guy came past on a bicycle, very professional, and ripped my phone out of my hand. And it made me realize a bunch of things very quickly, and then also afterwards when I was doing research about it. So the first thing you need to understand is that these guys that steal your phone, definitely in South America, Brazil, Guatemala, there's a whole bunch of places this is going down. These are not some rando oak that's stealing your phone so that he can go sell it for a couple of dollars to somebody else. This is part of organized crime. These guys have got top-notch hackers working with them, and they are not stealing your phone for the parts, or they are not stealing your phone because they want to sell it for a few dollars to somebody else that's going to reuse it. No. They're stealing your phone because they're trying to access the information on your phone. Because, I mean, let's face it, all of our lives are on our phones. Our banking, our crypto, our information, passwords, all of that information is on your phone. That's why they snatch it out of your hand when it's unlocked. You know, I was standing there ordering an Uber, so my phone was unlocked. This guy came past, ripped the phone out of my hand so quickly and so efficiently that, I mean, there was nothing I could do. Absolutely nothing. And immediately, as I looked up and I saw him cycling away, he was not even 5 meters away, he had the phone in his left hand, and he was scrolling through and looking at my passwords. And I don't know if he was taking screenshots or if he had a different camera or what he was doing, but he was active on my phone, inside my life, because my life is on my phone, like pretty much, I guess, everybody else. If yours is not, well done. Okay, so how do we secure our phones, and how do we make it so that it's not as risky? Well, the first thing I would do if I go travel again is I would get a burner phone. So I would take a phone when I go out that doesn't have all of my information on it, because, you know, we all have a bunch of old phones lying around. So next time I will probably just go and buy some SIM card locally and have like a crappy phone that I can carry with me. I'll have my real phone in my pocket and the other one out there, so if they do steal it, you know, doesn't carry all my information, doesn't have everything. But let's face it, it's not possible for everybody. So the second thing you need to do if you are going to use your phone, and this is what saved me this time around. I didn't lose anything, and it was mainly luck, okay? But it's also, well, good luck, I suppose. This thing that you need to do is have somebody else on your Find My iPhone. So in other words, somebody that you can call that can activate your phone lock and mark it as stolen or lost. Because that's what happened with me. That guy had 5 minutes to look at my phone. In that 5 minutes, I managed to grab my friend's phone, put Belinda's number in, call Belinda. She could access Find My and mark my phone as stolen, so that would lock my phone down and make it secure so the guy don't have access. We still had to change all of the passwords and everything because, once again, like I said, these guys are hackers. They have hackers, very good hackers, much smarter than you and me working for them. So even with locking the phone, we had to take the extra steps in security. So that's a very important thing to do. Then the next thing you can do is to start locking the apps on your phone. So let me show you how to do that right now. Okay folks, so let's go ahead and secure our iPhone. The first thing that I want to do is I want to go to my two-factor authentication app. Now, two-factor authentication, for those of you that don't know, is where you have these codes and you activate it on your social media, your banking. You should have it activated on your social media, your banking and everything else. And you have these codes on your two-factor authentication app, and in order to do anything on those other apps, you need to enter this code to prove that it is really you. Of course, huge was my surprise when I realized that because the guy stole my phone and my phone was unlocked, two-factor authentication is not locked behind any other security. So in other words, the fact that he has my phone and my phone is unlocked gives him access to my two-factor authentication. So theoretically, that means he could go into my bank, do a transaction, and then enter the two-factor authentication code. Now, my bank does have a couple of other security measures, but the reality is that these guys are not amateurs. This is organized crime. There's hackers. There's people that can do a bunch of stuff that we don't even know or think about. So this just doesn't work, and we need to make it as hard as possible for them. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my two-factor authentication app, which is Google Authenticator. I'm going to click on the three lines at the top. I'm going to select Settings. I'm going to select Privacy Screen, and I'm going to switch on Privacy Screen. So what that means is that they now have to have my face or my code to open two-factor authentication. So that's already just a small little hurdle in the way. Remember, you're working against time. If this guy snatches your phone like they did with me, or when they snatch your phone, they immediately start trying to get as much as possible from it. And every little obstacle you can put in their way gives you time to react. Okay, so my Google Authenticator is now secured behind facial recognition. I also want to secure a bunch of my other apps. And the crazy thing is, like your email. I mean, email is one of the most important apps that you have. If anybody has access to your email, they can theoretically reset any of your passwords and everything, because just think about it, it all goes to email. But email doesn't allow you to lock it behind a facial recognition natively. There is a little workaround though, so let's do that. What we're going to do is we're going to go into and search for shortcuts, the Apple Shortcuts app. We open that, and in the middle at the bottom there's a thing that says automation. Click on that, and we are going to run a new automation. So let's just scroll down until we find app. So there we go. So when an app is opened, we want to run it immediately, not after confirmation. So when an app is opened, run immediately. Now let's choose the apps. Okay, some of you are going to think I'm crazy, but for me, hey, I'm just going to choose all the apps, because I don't think anybody needs to have access to any apps on my phone without my face or my code. And after the thing that I had with my phone getting stolen, I know that it is possible, and you know what? I just want to make it extremely hard for anybody, and I'll show you why I select all the apps shortly in any case. But if you don't want to do all the apps, you can select your banking apps, the most important ones, obviously. For me, I just select all of them because it doesn't matter to me. I'm going to have my face with me when I'm on the phone at all times, well, hopefully. And if that's the case and I want to open an app, I will be able to open the app with my face or my code. So let's just go ahead and select them all. Now there's a couple of apps that you need to, if you don't want to select them all, that you do need to make sure you do. Like the first one is Find My. Find My is super important because it's not confirmed, but there are rumors that these hackers, if they can get into your Find My, can actually turn it off. Now, technically, it should have facial recognition in there as well, but apparently, well, there's rumors. On Reddit, I found a bunch of threads where people said the Find My was turned off. So I just want to lock it, like I said, put hurdles in the way of these hackers and these criminals as far as we possibly can. Of course, all of the apps that has anything to do with money, your banking, your crypto, all of those, super important. Lock it up. Of course, another one that I always forgot, that's like important is journal. Not that I journal much, but you know what? You don't want people to just know what you've written in your journal, right? Mail, definitely super important. Social media, super important. I had my LinkedIn stolen a while ago because I didn't have two-factor authentication, and it was that traumatic, I tell you. Not as traumatic as having my phone stolen, but still. All my crypto apps. Another important one is notes, because, okay, hands up, who of you have not ever put some information that you want to remember in notes that might actually be like, you know, a password or something that you don't want other people to know? So I'm just going to lock them all. I'm not taking any chances. So there we go. Reddit, reminders, Rocketman, the bus app, Safari, settings. Once again, these guys are professional hackers, and if they have access to your settings, they can change stuff. And then the other reason is, and I'll show you this afterwards, but when you have this automation running, so as soon as anybody clicks on any of these apps, the phone locks itself, and it can only access the app or all of your apps after that once it's unlocked with your face or your phone number. So in my case, where the guy ripped my phone out of my hand while I was busy getting an Uber, the moment he tried to open any of my other apps, my phone would have locked, and it would have automatically immediately locked my phone, and he wouldn't have the 5 minutes that it took me to call Belinda to get my phone locked. All right, so here we go. We've selected all the apps, and now 175 of them. Now I click next. And then on the next screen, there's a thing that says New Blank Automation. So I'm going to click New Blank Automation. I'm going to select Add Action. And over here, I'm going to search for lock. Lock. There we go. Screen. Lock screen, there we have it, right at the top. So we're going to select lock screen, and we are going to say done. And that means if anybody wants to open any app on my phone, so let's try it, let me move my face out of the way. If anybody wants to open any app on my phone and they click on it, it's going to immediately lock my phone, and they won't have access to any of my other apps. So this is a super way of stopping these guys stealing your phone to access your data. It's amazing, it works. And if you want to do it, you just have to have your face there and look at it. I don't actually use Google Meet, so it doesn't work. But anyway, there you go. It's as simple as that. This is the one thing you have to do. I mean, there's also obviously all of the others. You have to have your phone on Find My. You have to have a secondary person on your account that has access to your phone. But this is it. All right. Okay, so there you have it. Now your phone is locked. Whenever anybody wants to open anything on your phone, it's going to lock the phone and it's going to slow them down. Definitely. So like I said, this is not necessarily something you only do when you go and travel. This is something that you got to do regardless. I mean, I don't understand why it's not native on every phone. I don't understand why it's not set up like that. But anyway, it is what it is. So take your iPhone and go and lock everything up right now. Right now. Because once again, if they have access to your phone, they have access to everything. I mean, if I couldn't call Belinda and have my phone shut down in 5 minutes, that guy, because I was 45 minutes away from my laptop. So if I had to get to my laptop before I could shut him down, he could have done untold damage, especially since my Authenticator app was also open and not locked then. Now it is. And then just on a little side note, you know, it's funny, you go on all these forums and you see all of these things where people go, yeah, just lock your phone and then it's a brick and they can't do anything with it. Yeah, right. That's the narrative that gets told to us all. I don't believe that. I mean, if it was really like that, why would people continue stealing phones? Well, except for now, lately, because they can access all of your data. That's what they're after. It's actually crazy how many people lost money from their bank accounts because their phone got stolen and it was open and people had access. It's absolutely nuts. Anyway, but yeah, back to the whole point of your phone is locked, so nobody could do anything with it. Yeah, I don't believe that. I still read up on it a little bit. Now, I know there's a couple of ways you can lock your phone. The main way is with your IMEI number. So if you have your IMEI, you can report it as stolen. But if your phone is like mine, which is not locked to any specific network. So my phone's not locked to TELUS or anything. It's a phone I bought from Apple, so it's an open phone. Then your IMEI lock doesn't mean anything, because you actually have to physically lock it at every possible network that it could be used, because it's locked by the network. So in Brazil, I had to now go and lock my IMEI number with everybody in Brazil, so that my phone can't be used there. And then if it can't be used there, it can just be passed on to another country where it's not locked, and you know, that's just it. If you have bought your phone through a network, so you got your phone through TELUS and your phone is locked to TELUS, then that does work, because what you can do is you can have your phone locked, your IMEI locked at TELUS, and because your phone is network locked, it means as long as TELUS locks it, nobody else can use it on any other network. Although I'm not going to believe that that is an efficient way either, because the reality is people do not steal phones because they need bricks. They steal phones because they want data, and they steal phones because they want to use the phones. So they have to have something to do with the phone, otherwise they won't be stealing them, right? Anyway. So yes, if you're going to be traveling South America, Africa, any of those countries, there's a huge uptick in people trying to steal your phone when it's open so they can access your data. Be secure out there, be safe. All right, folks, have a good one.